Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for tuning in to Sally's Reviews. If you like this video of The Grudge, please give me a like, please share the video, and please subscribe. And also don't forget to hit that ringing bell down below for future notifications on future videos. Also comment down below how you felt about The Grudge. The Grudge, a semi-sequel reboot to the original Grudge, Ju-on, a Japanese horror film in 2002, or you could consider the 2004 remake with Sarah Michelle Gellar. The film stars Andrea Riseborough, Demian Bichir, and Lin Shaye. The Curse of the Grudge continues on as the movie goes into three separate storylines of the curse spreading and how it was spread to Detective Muldoon, played by Andrea Riseborough. She figures out through the timeline, through others, and how the curse was spread, and she's trying to find a way to solve the mystery and stop the curse. The film is directed and written by Nicholas Pesce, who also directed smaller independent horror films such as The Eyes of My Mother and Piercing. I haven't seen any of those films, but that often creates interest for me, that a small director will take on a big studio horror film. Although the film can't help itself but go through the typical cliches of a haunted house fest, such as jump scares and whatnot.
I think something followed me home.
Mommy, what's going on? What's wrong?
We need to leave right now.
As for positives I have about this movie, and there are some, I think the movie is very well shot. There are very unique angles being used here, and also just really nice framing. The lighting is also very moody and dark. Plus there's good environments, I feel like, to encapsulate that feeling of the little tension that they have here. I also really enjoyed Lin Shaye's performance. She's always been great in these horror movies. She always gives 100% to her roles, like something like Insidious, even though the films that kind of come out are pretty lackluster in my opinion. I think the concept of the story is interesting in using multiple storylines to correlate with the detective storyline. I think it could have worked, but the execution itself doesn't serve it well. I don't think. It was kind of a missed opportunity. For some mixed things, it's not the Grudge that everybody is going to be expecting. It's a new type of movie with different demonic possessions. You don't get the kid who meows all the time, and you see the long-haired girl in some scenes, but they're a new type of ghost here. I enjoyed that they did something different, but audiences may be thrown off by what type of movie, what type of Grudge movie this is. It's rather a loose sequel than it is a remake. So if you do go see it, make sure you know that going in. I enjoyed the Lin Shaye and Frankie Faison storyline to some degree. I think they have great chemistry together and they are terrific in this movie. But there is one big problem that I have that I will mention in my negatives. And as for some of the negatives here, I think the scares here are just terrible. They're nothing but jump scares, quick cuts, and there's no sense of tension for anything. They missed a lot of opportunities to create the tension that they set up, especially in the great environments that they have and the different type of ghosts that they have. Otherwise, this film tries too hard to scare the audience, which ruins the sense of tension, the sense of tone that it potentially could have had. But the budget was $10 million, so they probably didn't want to show much because of budget issues, or that they knew they could make this film for cheap and manipulate the audiences to see it based on the name alone, plus some of the familiar imagery that The Grudge has. Many of the performances here are flat out terrible. I think Andrea Riseborough wasn't that good. I don't think she offers a lot to the character, and there are many scenes where she could build up the tension a little bit in her character and her expression, but she really doesn't. And I think it has to do with a lot of her direction, in my opinion. John Cho, who plays just an average middleman, just average John Cho, gets caught up in the curse with his pregnant wife, and their story is nothing but about the pregnancy and the fears about being a parent. But but it's more of a sympathy plug than for them, and we don't know much about them other than that. We don't know what their careers are, we don't know who they are, what they came up to be, and there really is a serious lack of character development here for everybody. And Jackie Weaver, Academy Award nominated actress Jackie Weaver, is awful in this movie, and I think that's really a shame, because I think it could have been a lack of direction for her performance or just the faults of the character itself, but she's not in this movie one bit. And when I mean by that, her heart's not in this movie one bit. She's in the Lin Shane and Frankie Faison storyline, and she's the reason why that story was ruined, because we don't really know a whole lot about her or her purpose in being there. And if I have to give an example of how bad she is, she has a scene where she screams at an incident, and I'm not gonna lie, it was so unintentionally laughable that it killed the climax of that story. And while it was being steady good, I think that movie really, I think the story really bombed with that. And the movie shifts in time quite rapidly, and some of the storylines you lose focus on. You're reminded over and over again that one of the stories are a part of the bigger picture, and it's so bad in the way it shifts. I also gave that a mixed reaction during Little Women, but at least with Little Women, it tried to be intentional every time that a time jumped. The movie is all over the place, and it gets pretty confusing. The movie is also very boring in some parts. It takes a while for the film to ramp up the tension and ramp up the stakes of the story. For all we are offered bland exposition, for these bland stereotypical characters, and there isn't a scare in this movie that was effective. So overall, I would have to say it's a fine horror movie. I mean, it's more just okay, borderline bad, in my opinion. I feel like that it had potential to do something rather than just serving the audiences who go and see these movies. So overall, I'm going to have to give The Grudge a bronze award, and that's kind of being a little generous there, but say if you caught it on Netflix or something like that, I think, just put it on and see how you would feel about it. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more movie review content coming up in the future there. My review for 1917 is going to come up either tomorrow or Saturday, and also my promised top 10 movies of the year. Again, I'm just waiting for 1917 to come out, and I will be able to add that onto the list, or maybe I won't. You'll find out in the future review there. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.